Good morning. This is Steve O'Hare from Signal Centre. It's Wednesday, the 25th. I think this is episode 447 of Talking Bull. And you've got me today, Joe, away on holiday, and I'm going to dive straight in to the market highlights. Market highlights are courtesy of IG Markets. The IG Morning Call is a sheet you can subscribe to very easily by going to the website. So what we've got a somewhat indecisive and cautious approach overnight, as seen marginal gains in Aussie and China, counteracted by slight losses in the Nikkei and the Hang Seng. That comes off the back of a US session that saw markets post tentative gains led by the Nasdaq. Friday's Jackson Hole is on everyone's lips. Appearance from Jeremy Powell remains the main target and focus for the traders, with volatility clearly on the wane as we await the outcome of that meeting. The spread of the Delta variant, coupled with waning protection levels levels provided by the vaccine, do bring concern for the traders. However, we've seen that oil has lifted on the back of the Pfizer vaccine, with a boosted confidence that the Delta variant will become more controlled by the Pfizer drug. So it's a bit of a slagging match at the moment. Some positive news for the US, with House Democrats voting to further clear the pathway for Biden's $3.5 trillion budget that has recently come into question, given internal rifts in the party. Looking ahead, keep an eye out for German IFO, US core durable goods and crude inventories. We'll cover them off at the end. So let's start talking about markets, baby. We'll start with commodities, and why not? Let's share this screen for you. And we can see that, let me just double check. Yeah, we can see that we'll start with crude oil. The monthly chart I've got up here, this is a negative formation after the reaction lower from the resistance level up at these $77 area. Although price action has moved lower, it has reacted from the previous downward trending resistance line, and it's reacted really nicely, and we can see price action over the last couple of days has been pretty positive, obviously based on that news on the Pfizer vaccine. So that's a nice correction. Has the uptrend got potential to return? We've had an ABC correction. It played out and was pretty much spot on. The targeted move was around about 62.40, just dipped slightly below that, and it's reacted nicely higher. We have got resistance coming in around about $69. That's a couple of dollars higher on the crude oil. And above that, we got the downward trending, this short-term downward trending resistance line coming in at $71. So plenty of resistance up above, but we've got potential now. It all feels a little bit rosier for the crude oil. Also, we've got this afternoon oil inventories. Watch out for that. We had a big draw last week, and I'm sure that maybe this price action could be based on potential news. Who knows? Call me skeptical. Looking at the crude oil on the Brent side of things, this has reacted from 64.40. So we've basically had a 10%, just under 10% recovery in the last 2 days. And that's pretty impressive by any standards. 71.62, between 71.10, 71.62. We've also got other resistance levels up here, and yeah, looking pretty impressive. We can jump to gold now. So gold, this is what we've seen. This is a 4-hour chart that we've had the overnight Sunday morning reaction from the spike lower, the volatility move that we saw, which moved about $70 in the matter of a few minutes, and the reaction high from there has been a decent recovery. However, we've run into tentative resistance around about the $1,800 psychological level. So that's definitely one to be aware of. We're trading just below that now, 17.95. It almost looks a little bit toppy after revisiting the 18.10 resistance yesterday. The Gunter head trade I was going for yesterday was buying gold. It ended up slightly positive, but but didn't actually make enough ground for me to start celebrating today. Having a quick look at silver, it's a little bit more sedated. Can we say that? Really, bit of a expanding wedge here. Well, not really. No, I don't think we can call it a expanding wedge. But we have got some resistance up here around about the $24 level. We're trading 23.75, so not far away from it. And we've sort of seen a lower low, which isn't too good. It really does depend on whether we'll get any supportive price action or this plays out at all. So we've got this resistance coming in at 23.94 to be exact. Let's bring it down. But the band of resistance should be a bit higher than that as well, up to 24.02. So a break of there, and it opens up the upside again, similar to gold, a break of 18.10, and we should see further upside. Commodities, copper's picking up a bit. It's recovered nicely. What sort of move have we had on that? And again, this over the last couple of days, we've had an 8.5% recovery in that. So this can all be based a little bit on dollar weakness, this sort of like rally we've seen, but there may be more to it. Let's see, we've got some figures coming out, as I say, later. Let's have a little look at cryptos, baby. We're hanging about just below this 50,000 level. Obviously, this is really key from a psychological point of view and a technical point of view. We've got resistance levels above. The swing high we've got in place at the moment is 50,570. We've got resistance around about 51,000 and 52,300. We'll show you that on the. Let's move it to a weekly chart. The monthly chart looks a bit messy. So this will be the double bottom measured move target, and also the 61.8% fib retracement level at 51,000. So there you go. Cardano has stalled just at a really nice round number, which I love. $3 stalled just in front of there. 297 a high on this chart, and we're forming a doji on the weekly now. So that's not quite as impressive as it has been. The daily chart has formed a bearish engulfing candle, almost looks a little bit hanging man-like. So it looks a little bit ominous, but price action today really either going to confirm or negate that negative price action that we've seen. So it's still holding on. We've got support. Will it be at the previous all-time high? Comes in at 246.5 on Cardano. Definitely one worth mentioning. Alongside Bitcoin at the moment, as it's through its all-time highs by a chunk. Let's take a little look at indices. So price action, I would say, a bit mixed from the markets. US was quite well supported yesterday overall, generally, but it's a little bit quiet. On the FTSE side of things, a little bit of muted price action again yesterday. This is the daily chart. Let's break it down to a shorter time frame to get a little bit of an idea of how it moved around yesterday. So yeah, we had a little bit of a sell-off in the morning and then a recovery in the afternoon, and we've on the front foot to start the day, reacting from 71.06, trading around 71.34 now, and really needing to push past 71.51 to open up the upside. We'll have downward trending resistance coming in, quite a nice trend line here. So that should put a little bit of a cap in place for a short while. 71.75, look out for that. Similar type of price action on the DAX, although it looks like it's broken, or well, it's really testing this downward trending resistance line, and we're trading above it now. Really, if we see a break of 15,940, only 20 pips away, then I expect to see that continue higher. The Dow just off its all-time highs, sell off again over the end of last week, but the recovery has been pretty impressive since, and we can see on the daily chart how it's reacted from this potential trend line, which is now confirmed as a trend line because we've got 3 points it's touched. This was a very positive candle. on the day on the last Thursday, and Friday finished off again another positive move. Monday followed through. Tuesday a bit muted, as we've said, a little bit of a doji, bit of indecision, but you know, plenty of scope for further upside again in Dow. Right, we've posted is that a new all-time high overnight? 15,387. What's this one? 15,383. All-time high yesterday. Try to get above it today, and it's on the cusp of posting an all-time high as we're speaking. So Nasdaq not slowing down for anyone. Looks a little bit like on the 4-hour chart we've got some sort of channel formation looking for a move higher. A break below 15,300 will pressurize this move higher. That could open up a move of about 115 pips down to 15,184. 4,500, 4,500 is the psychological resistance for S&Ps. So we've got all-time high now at 4,495.5 on this chart. We've formed a bullish engulfing candle on the 4-hour chart, so it looks like we're going to attack this into the US session. So maybe a bit muted this morning, but looking to really open up this afternoon. Aussie 200, that we've obviously taken a look at this yesterday. This is a or from another day, not quite sure where this chart has come in, but this is a resistance line that we're looking at. We are probing it at the moment. It's trying to recover along with the metals. Obviously it's a big mining indices, so that'll be helped by the supportive move in the precious metals. On the China 50, for me, this is a negative daddy. This is potential for a continuation, this triangle formation. However, triangle formation, because it's at the end of the trend, you expect it to move lower, but it can, if it does break, then let's take a look at this, and this could easily react higher. Notifications coming in all over, sorry about that. Hang Seng, again, looking like we sort of like nailing the resistance here. We've got this downward trending resistance. It poked its head through and got smacked back down, so that's pretty good from the Hang Seng point of view, and a little bit toppy looking in the Asian Pacific indices overall, definitely under a little bit more pressure than our US counterparts. Right, let's talk about FX. We'll run through this. Overall, we've had a little bit of a recovery now. We can see the pullback there, although at the moment forming a bearish engulfing. Dollar index is stalled at, or has retraced only ever so slightly, and we did mention yesterday that we'd have support from an uptrend line. It hasn't quite got to it, it's stalled in front of it, but hanging around the 93 level. So again, all feels a little bit muted as to where we can go. But the one thing we are watching, obviously, on the longer term charts for the dollar index is this 93.43 level, which we've just retraced from. A break and a close above there, and that could extend the move to 97.27. So that's a real key formation that we're looking at on the dollar charts. Let's also take a look at where cable has gone. Cable's recovered slightly from the previous swing low, the 136 area. We've posted gains, got up to 137.46, and currently trading just above 137 at 137.19. A bit muted start to the day. Dollar yen it seems to have held really. It's all been sideways price action. This is the daily chart, and you can see over the last 6 or 7 days we've closed only within a sort of 15 tick range on each day. We've had spikes in both directions. So for me, that indicates maybe the dollar story isn't over yet. We've still got a little bit more on the upside. The formation I'm looking at is an inverse head and shoulders formation here. It's not an ideal one. Ideally, you'd see an inverse head and shoulders formation. The stronger ones occur at the bottom of the trend, but they do happen intra-trend as well, and they can play out rather nicely if it does work. Aussie dollar has recovered ever so slightly. Well, I mean, I think it'll be quite pleased with the recovery from the lows up to there. We've seen a 2% recovery, just over 2% in Aussie dollar. So that pretty much covers the analysis side of things. Gun to head challenge. I'm sure you're all gagging to know what happened yesterday. So gold, I bought gold at 1801.9. Stop was at 1794.4. Pretty sure it get stopped out. Well, I would have done if I'd have held the position, I think, but 1824 was my target, nowhere near that, got up to 1810, and it closed at 1803, so I closed marginally on side. We cut the trade at 9 o'clock. This is a bit of fun, gun to head challenge. It's just us saying to each other, if you had a gun to head, what would you trade right now? So really puts you on the spot. Not an ideal way of analyzing or trading markets, and that's the fun in it. So what am I looking at now? I still have a bit of a belief in dollar yen. Now, let me take a look. I tell you what, I might go for it. And I'm looking at the hourly chart. And again, as I've said to you, these sorts of, right, it's a bit messy, Stevie. Get rid of that. Let me shut down everything. Right, do I want to leave the ATR levels? Yeah, I'll leave the ATR levels. No, I won't. I'll shut it down. Right, let's take a look at this. Now, what we can see, and I know people are going to go, no, it's not. So again, as I said, head and shoulder formations and inverse head and shoulders formations, head and shoulders at the top, inverse at the bottom, they tend to be one of the most reliable formations, especially if you introduce the volume with it. Now, if they occur in a trend or in the middle of a trend, they're not as reliable. However, the price action for me is still as important. It shows that we've had an attempted sell-off, a recovery, a further sell-off making a new low, a second recovery, and then a stall in an additional sell-off. And if anything, this has got a couple of shoulders in it, a couple of left shoulders, a couple of right shoulders. It's a complex inverse head and shoulders formation. Not overall, as an analyst, you're looking for these to occur at the bottom or the top of the trend. And this is in the midst of a trend. So it's, you know, we're sideways price action, but I still believe it offers decent risk reward. If you are sitting there and you believe like me that dollar's still got a little bit more on the upside, these are the sort of trades that I would look to take. But I've got a gun to my head, so I've got to do it anyway. So, and the reason it's good risk reward, you can be quite aggressive with a stop. You can have the stop just below the right shoulder. Ideally, you'd have it below this level here, 109.58. Let me see what levels I've got. So I'm getting long here at 109.77. I'll round it up just to make it easier. Yeah, having a 13 pip stop in dollar yen is pretty cool. And you know, I like a 2-to-1. Could I go a little bit more than that? No, let's go 2-to-1. 2-to-1 is obviously within the ATR levels of the day, and that's not a bad level to aim for. We've got the we'll have a trend line just on the short-term chart. We bring a tentative trend line coming in just above that. So I'm targeting a move to 110.03, getting long at 109.77. The stop is at 109.64. So that is my gun to head trade idea. So day ahead, let me just run over again, courtesy of IG Market Call. The day ahead, we've had German IFO Business Climate Index that's just come out. US durable goods orders at 1:30 UK time, orders to fall 0.5% month on month overall, and rise 0.5 excluding transportation. So markets to watch for that are the US dollar crosses. 3:30, watch out oil. The US crude oil inventories, stockpiles fell by 3.2 million barrels in the preceding week. Markets to watch, obviously, Brent and WTI. So thanks for joining me today. Hope it's been interesting. Hope I've given you something to think about from the analysis side of things, and good luck with your trading day. Look forward to join you again tomorrow.